Hey everyone, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Today is November 21st, 2024. In this video, this is part 2 of the video about my neighbor sanding down his garage to the wood and his house. I don't think he sanded his house all the way down, but he sanded his garage down. I have photos to prove it. But before I begin, I have to disclose I'm not an expert in anything, so anything I share with you, if you try it, use it, or buy it, you do so at your own risk and peril. Also, too, I'm not affiliated, endorsed, or reimbursed by any company or product that I share with you. And then also, too, please, if you get something from this, like, subscribe, share with friends and family, and put a comment below so that I can respond to it. Okay, so part 2, I'm kind of introducing you to my world and what's been going on. I think I already kind of covered. He did the sanding, and the thing was the first year I had contacted the city. They gave me the testers. They tested positive. The city said, oh, well, too bad. There's no law against it. So you have to treat it like it's your problem now. So that's what I did. And I did reach out to the state, and the state reached out to him and told him. Now, all the state or city can do is suggest to them the protective measures that they can take. And for a contractor, I think some of the protective measures they have to take are using a special HEPA sander if they're going to sand things down. Also, too, to contain it within some type of, maybe like putting up plastic or some type of barrier so it's not traveling all over. And then finally, and just as important, cleaning it up with a HEPA filter. Now, I really wasn't too aware of what HEPA filters were or anything like that until the abatement specialist talked to me, and I really got into it. And so first I want to talk about what I did with the walls. Now, the abatement specialist said, take some soapy water in a bucket and take some clear water in another bucket and wipe down your walls. I just couldn't do that. Not right away. It's overwhelming. Every single wall, every single nook, cranny, everywhere. This is a dust. It's a yellow dust that was all over. I mean, it was up here. There was a thin film of dust, yellow dust. And I guess in a way, in a really crazy way, that was a godsend to know because it was yellow. So I could see it, because otherwise you can't see lead. You can't really see these things. And I could taste it too. It tastes like burnt wood, medley taste. It smelled like burnt wood too in my home and in the backyard and everywhere. It was just pathetic. And part of the problem was the surprise I had this last year, because I thought for sure after he was talked to by the DHS and he was warned of the potential hazards that he's creating, I thought for sure he would side his garage. No way. He started sanding, and he started sanding the day that I had my grandkids here. I went livid. I went absolutely livid. And I've been livid. I've been in a horrible storm. I do have PTSD. And you know, that man, when we had a confrontation, he laughed at me for crying. And then he said something that really he said, well, you better get back on your meds. Yeah. Shame on you, mister, for saying something like that to anybody, not just me, to anybody. Yes, I do have mental conditions. In the Therapies for a Better Me playlist, I talk about those mental conditions. And actually, I show you, if you do have these same situations, or if you don't and you know someone that does, how to optimize your living. That's the whole point of the series. So it was like, kiss my butt. And you should hear the words that come out of my mouth, because I'm triggered state. I'm in a storm, and I talk about those storms in 103, I think it is. In 101, I talk about, the initial thing of what to do as far as like getting a playbook together. And in 102, I have some really great advice too about a parenting playbook. I just share information because I'm an older person and I've been there, done that, and I want to help other people. So, but point is he said some really horrible things to me. And just his actions, he violated me. He violated my space. And I don't care what laws are not broken or broken. It's bullshit. It has nothing to do with laws. It has to do with the respect of another person next to you. I don't care who you are. You should treat me with respect. I treat you with respect. I don't go out there with pots and pans banging in your windows or do anything like that. I'm very respectful, very quiet. I mean, unless you intrude on my space, I don't bother you. I don't care what you do, as long as you don't hurt people or children, But if you're just living, I don't care. Point is it was devastating. The whole thing has been a devastating nightmare, and it's really taken me this long to be able to calmly, without screaming and yelling, take and make these videos with the intent that they're going to help somebody else, because I'm sure this happens more than once. And even if it doesn't, then you're aware of it. Lead is a horrible, horrible thing to have to deal with. Talk about it in another video. I'm actually going to show you what it does to your brain, what it does to a child's brain. I know what it did to my brain. Okay, I don't care what anybody says. And the VOCs as well. So one of the things we need to do now is we need to protect ourselves against the environmental chemicals that come into our home without us even knowing. And actually, the post office, I stopped them from coming. And then I told the postman, I warned him. I'm like, there's been a guy who, I don't say there's lead definite because I don't know, but I know it's definite paint. And on the back of any paint can, it says, don't ingest, don't breathe in. Duh, there's a reason, because it's caustic chemicals in that paint. So I would just tell him, just be careful, because this is floating around. A lot of people, they will take it for granted. They'll say, oh, no big deal. It is a big deal. It's a huge deal. And it does stuff to your head and your body. So I think it's something you should be really researching yourself. Get that playbook out that I talk about in therapies, and make sure that you do a chapter on VOCs and caustic chemicals and things like that. So anyway, we're getting back to here. He told me to wipe down the walls. That's the next step. I just couldn't. Can you imagine? I'd have to wipe down every single wall. What I did was I made a plan, and I used my dusters. There's my extended duster, and I actually added extra poles, and then that one for everything. So I would just go around every single day and just use distilled vinegar. Now, the abatement specialist said don't do that, but I did anyway, because I did make a plan. I said, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to get some of this off, and I would vacuum them constantly. I'd constantly vacuum them with this vacuum. Now, the reason I didn't use this vacuum is because this is not a HEPA vacuum. It's not even a HEPA filtered vacuum. So the difference, from what I understand, is that this vacuum, what happens is when there is exhaust, it's pulling in the air, and then the air is going into the chamber, and it's coming up this way. And there is a filter there, but it's just a foam filter with there's a little, it's almost like looks like a HEPA filter cover, but not sure of that. And the point is that you have to have what would be called a tested HEPA filter, I would think. So anyway, point is, there's this type of vacuum. Then there is this type of vacuum that actually does have a HEPA filter on it. And then there's a vacuum that has it where the exhaust goes out another way. At least that's what I'm understanding from the abatement specialist and reading. And so what I did was I bought this Eureka vacuum. And honestly, I don't like it at all. I don't like this vacuum, but it works. And it has the HEPA filter in it. It's got a canister. The one thing I really don't like about it is there was a warning for cancer. So here I'm trying to get rid of lead, and I might be having a potential cancer risk. I can't help but use it because I looked on the market, and unless I want to spend $1,000 on a vacuum cleaner, this is it. So I've been using this one. I don't really care for it, but it works. And so what I do is I made a plan. I would take and clean every room, just kind of do a once over every week. And then every day I would go in to one room and really clean. And I just kept doing that over and over. And I've been doing this now for 3-4 months now, since August, over and over. And actually since last year, over and over and over and over. And I just keep doing it. And it has really lessened the amount. I can't taste any metal taste in my mouth anymore. I can't taste the wood. But there's other ways of figuring that out too. There's other ways to test, and I'll talk about that in the next video, because that's about the air. Okay, this is about the surfaces. So you want to, if you can, make a plan. Get these dusters. I used a distilled vinegar, but I think even you could use some soapy water. It would be a pain to do that. But I use the distilled vinegar, and actually I did read somewhere where you could use the distilled vinegar. No, but again, the abatement specialist said, no, that's not good. To me, it's better than nothing. I know I'm minimizing it. My situation is that this dust will eventually dissipate, eventually. And I figured it out to be about maybe 20 gallons of paint dust landed in my yard. That's how I figured. When you look at the garage, here's the wood. Anything past there. So the first coat of paint from 1959, that's probably definitely where, if there is lead, that's where it is. And then the next coats thereafter up until the 70s, late 70s, and then in the 80s. So how many times was that paint, that garage painted? I don't know. And actually it looked horrible. I could have called on him for that, and I didn't. I think that says a lot about me, and it says a lot about him, what he's done to me. So, but anyway, I have figured out how much dust was in the air and how much dust was coming in the home. But I also luckily for me, in a way, that was yellow. So anytime I see, when I'm looking at my surfaces of my stuff, I'm looking for yellow up here. I'm looking for yellow dust, and I haven't found anything. So it's getting much, much better. And so I want to end this video. It's getting a little too long, so I'm done talking about it. Check out your vacuum cleaners. Make sure you're having a HEPA vac. I think you should actually buy one. Now for me, because this does have cancer properties in it, I use it downstairs, and I put it downstairs in the basement, and I keep it down there in an area that the kids don't go in. And then I just use it once a month or once every few weeks, and I go through the house. And really everything, I think my house is so clean you could probably eat off the floors. But I just keep doing this, and this is going to be a maintenance for me for the rest of my life, to do this, because I think it's very important. VOCs are in the air. If you have anybody that's building stuff around you or anything like that, you can get potential VOCs. So that's this is the second issue, wiping down the surfaces and cleaning and vacuuming and stuff. This is the second part of this video. So with that, I'm going to end this video. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And always, always, please stay safe and stay healthy. And I hope to see you again next time here in Lisa's chat room.